This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you talk about at BYU-Idaho. Today we are here with
Lydia Laws,
Grace Andrus,
and Abigale Maxfield.
Awesome. So today we're back with Miss Abby.
Yeah, I'm not dying anymore.
We're so happy that you're back and healthy and not dying.
Yeah, me too.
She was dead.
Yeah, Lydia bore witness to my near-death experience.
Hey, but we binged like 2 seasons of anime.
Yeah, it was
Hey, that's awesome.
It was pretty baller.
For those of you who don't know, she wasn't actually dying.
Yeah, I was
sick.
really sick.
Just deathly ill, but not dying.
Yeah, I was not like in a hospital by any means, but I was like ill for like 9 days straight.
Oh
maybe
my
10
gosh,
days straight.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like bad.
Okay, well, we're glad you're back.
Yeah, me
Seriously. So with Abby being back, we're going to continue with our 4-part series of things we wish we knew before coming to BYU-Idaho. Yeah. And it's perfect to have Lydia here because we're talking about roommates and all the things that come with being roommates. We'll touch on the honor code a little bit, and then also just like grocery shopping with roommates, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Shopping in general, where to get the good style,
Things
the
that
good
come with
drip.
like sharing the good drip, sharing like a house with people, right?
With
There's-
6 people.
Yeah, there's so much that comes with that.
Coexisting.
Because, like, of course, like, coexisting. Because, of course, there's so many different places where you can, like, oh, I live with 8 people or I live with 4 people. But the standard in Rexburg is that there are 6 people per unit, like, on average. I would say that's pretty typical.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's going to be you and 5 strangers. Most
Sometimes,
likely.
yeah. Or I don't know. I lived in an 8-man, and that was a lot too.
Yeah.
Like
That's
an 8-man. I think we had 2 fridges, so that like made it a little bit more. But yeah, sometimes you're living with strangers, sometimes you're living with friends, which is awesome because you guys are roommates to friends.
Yeah. Roommates to friends, strangers to besties.
Enemies to lovers.
Yeah, enemies to lovers.
Yes.
No, yeah, Lydia and I were roommates for a while, and she was brought in by a roommate that I had lived with for a while and known prior to being roommates. And then she was like, hey, my friend's like coming up to school here. And she was like, so I'm going to bring her and like get her in our apartment. And we were all just like, okay. And we just like took her word she was going to be chill. We were like, we hope she's like not weird. and then Lydia showed up, and a lot of us kind of commented that she just kind of like was a missing piece we didn't know we had in our friend group, in our roommate group. Like, she just like fit in so seamlessly. It was like awesome.
That's
was super,
awesome.
super cool. So
Yeah, that's where I definitely got lucky because I know sometimes it's definitely scary to get new roommates, but when it's more of a friend group than it is like strangers, it's so much easier to get used to it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's lucky too that you fit so well too, because if you hadn't, that would have just changed that experience completely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Changed this episode completely even.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, we had like, and that was something that we tried to be aware of, just because like, so I was roommates with a really good group of people really consistently for a long time. And so like maybe we weren't all roommates, but maybe we were like neighbors, and then some people moved out or graduated or got married, and then like other people moved in. And so we just had like a really good rotation of people, and we were all really tight, but we rarely had enough to fill our 6-person apartment. So we always had like one odd man out. Like, we never knew who they were. They were coming in blind. And we were like all a really tight knit group of friends, and we were always like, okay, like we want to make sure they feel welcome and like not excluded. And like sometimes that worked, and sometimes they were like, oh, I have like my own group of friends, and they were just like never home anyways, and they were just doing their own thing, and like they were super nice and we were super nice, but we weren't like buddies or anything.
Yeah.
And so the dynamic shifts a lot. And then there were like sometimes where we had roommates that were like kind of crazy and like
That happens.
yeah, and like
they exist.
yeah, and did not click, and we're not doing like the things they know they're supposed to be doing. And so like that was like, oh, like what do we do, like we haven't experienced this before.
Yeah.
And so there's all sorts of dynamics with roommates, and it can be really tricky, especially when you're first moving in. Like when I first came up here, like I didn't know any of my roommates. I didn't know how to get in contact with anybody.
It's weird too, because you move in and the only thing they give you is first and last name and email.
Yeah.
Which like you can do Instagram stalking and that's like chill, but like after that, it's just emailing them to whom it may concern. I'm your future roommate. But Lydia, you were telling me something that you guys did when you had like random roommates. I can't remember the context.
So last fall semester, when Abby and I had like, we moved to a different apartment complex, and it was like complete new group of people. it was actually Abby that started it, but she started like a group email with everyone, and we basically did like a little introduction, like our names, our major, just like a little bit to get to know our roommates, and it definitely helped.
Yeah.
And in there, I like was like, give us your phone number so we can like create a group chat for like move-in day.
Yes, because the roommate group chat is like so necessary.
Yeah.
Like even halfway through the semester, I've been in situations where we still don't have a roommate group chat, and I'm like, holy cow, like things have come up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I had roommates that were afraid of the dishes. Truly, I feel like there was a phobia. So I'm like, guys, they're not gonna bite you.
Yeah.
You can do them.
You can do that.
It's either dishes or taking out the trash.
Yeah,
bro.
I don't know what the beef is with it.
I have no clue either.
Yeah, taking out the trash in the bathroom. That was the beef in our apartment. I was like, this is nasty for other reasons. And I was like, I'm not going to clean up after your nastiness. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I think the roommate group chat, I would just like highly recommend to anybody that you try to form one with your roommates, because they, like you said, they only ever give you like first and last name and email. And like for a long time I wasn't on social media, so people like couldn't find me. Like they couldn't even do like a quick social media stalk, like in quotes, right? And so like they were like, yeah, we didn't know like anything about you, and I was like, sorry, I'm not weird. I just like I don't really do
I promise I'm super chill.
Yeah.
Well, that, and then like a lot of people have their social media platforms private, so really all you can see is just like their bio and profile picture.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's only so much stalking you can do.
Yeah, that's true. But I think getting the roommate group chat, especially with, we were talking about it a little bit, but like coexisting with 6 to 8 people, and like everyone coming in with a shower curtain and a bath mat and
a trash can.
So then you have 6 trash cans, and and so having that roommate group chat to say, hey, I'm buying the shower curtain. Does someone want to buy the shower liner or the bath mat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's essential. Like, because I just remember my first semester like so vividly. Like, so many people ended up with extra stuff, and I'm like, dude, there are people like at Walmart looking for that right now, and it's like out of stock. Like, and we bought like 5 extras. Like, why did we do that? And so I just remember being like, I'm never doing that again. And I just remember like, then when I moved in next time, I didn't buy like anything ahead of time, and then I was like, okay, like who needs what, and like what do we not have, and then we like slowly acquired it all, and like it was taken care of, and then I like had stuff to bring in the future roommates, and okay, I already have a shower curtain, and I have a trash can, and I have blah 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 blah, whatever, because it's just like obviously there only needs to be one like main trash can in the apartment, right? Like nobody else needs to buy one, and so it's just kind of like, I don't know. And like I think with coming with things like that you're buying that are intended to be like communal, is like you can split the cost of them with roommates if you want, but I personally just wouldn't recommend it, because then when somebody moves out, it's like who takes it and like what happens to it. And so it's just easier if one person just like, it's like, I'll do the trash can, you want to buy the first box of trash can liners, like okay, sounds good.
No, I agree. I think just buying it, because I think if my roommate that I had never met before was like, hey, everybody owes me $1.25 for this bath mat, I'm like, what? I don't even know you.
I think the only thing that it's really like actually reasonable to split cost on is like the necessities, like toilet paper, dishwasher soap, things like that.
Soap.
Yeah, like disinfecting wipes for clean checks, you know, like whatever. Like if you go to the store and buy a bunch of cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fair. I feel like, so have you moved into a bunch of randos, right? And then that was when you met like all of your friends, and then you moved in, but you knew people?
Yeah, so I knew 2 of the girls that, like, when I moved in my first semester, I knew 2 of them. But, like, again, I can even say on my part, it didn't feel like I didn't know any of them prior. It was, like I said, a very lucky experience, because I came into it and I was like, oh, I have friends. Like, literally was comfortable with everyone day one.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then have you moved into random roommates since?
This semester, right?
Well, so this semester and the semester before, but it wasn't, because I was one of the ones that like stayed in the apartment, so it was a bunch of like
people coming to you.
People coming to me. And it's very different from having friends. And I would argue I prefer being in an apartment with friends, but like obviously there's, you know, some things you should figure out before you decide that you're just gonna, you know, take roost with your bestie and call it a day.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point because like sometimes rooming with your friend can actually be the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
It can destroy friendships so fast.
Yeah, like you think you're like, no, this is my bestie. We've never fought before, and then like you realize that she's like
I'd argue
so messy, and it's like what?
If you haven't fought before, that's problem number one.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think so like my very very first semester, and then I didn't come back for like almost two. Like I think it was like 2 years, like on the dot. Actually, it might have even been like 3. I think it was actually closer to 3, but like I didn't come back for like 3 years because I took like a gap year in the middle of my mission and all this stuff. But like, so first semester was strangers, and then the second time I came up was all strangers, and then like that's when I found my friends. But I had a roommate who's like best friend, like they were from like the same ward, they grew up together, like all these things, and she and her like just sat down and decided like we should not be roommates, and so they lived in the same complex and they would like hang out often. But they were not like sharing a living space because they just knew themselves well enough to make that call. And I remember being like, yeah, like respect. I mean, if you know,
that's like,
then you know, right? Like,
yeah, that's really mature and like very intuitive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense too because if you're best friends with someone and they're living in the same apartment complex, but like that means they can have their friends, you can have your friends, and then you can like meet more people. And like if it doesn't work, then you still have each other. And so I think that's smart.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And once you get like that good group of roommates, it's like, I don't know, roommates I think just for me affected my college experience so much that like if you're consistently not having good luck with them, like I would encourage you to like branch out and like try a different complex or request like all new roommates, and you know, or like find a friend in class that maybe you think is cool and ask if like they want to room with you, and just like, you know, and if it's a bad experience then like, you know, okay, try again kind of a thing. Just because, like, don't give up, because I know a lot of people come up here, have negative roommate experiences, and then, like, kind of get disheartened.
And then they leave.
Yeah. And I'm always like, don't do that. Like, I promise if you can just, like, get a good group. And even if it's, like, 2 or 3 roommates, like, right? Like, not, like, the whole apartment, but just, like, a small group. Like, Lydia and I, like, lived together at the brand new complex that we moved at last fall. And, like, even though I didn't become, like, close friends with any of those girls, like, we were all pretty cordial, all pretty nice. And, like, Lydia and I still had a blast hanging out with our friends at, like, other complexes, like, doing stuff and meeting people and all that jazz. So,
no, I think that's fair. I think finding, like, a good person in, like, your classes that you kind of jive with and being like, hey, do you need a roommate? Do your friends need roommates? Because then you can kind of, like, trust them. But obviously, there are still bad experiences out there. So...
oh, yeah.
Yeah, just don't become disheartened, like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and, like, I know for some people, they get there and, I don't know, I just know that this happened with some people that I, like, know personally, like, from, like, maybe back home or, like, from my mission. But they come up here and they kind of expect that everybody's going to, like, use the same logic as them and also, like, interpret, like, the standard of living up here the same as them. And, like, that's just not the case. And I really wish people would come up here kind of already realizing that. Because, like, what might seem to me is, like, okay, that's common sense. Like, you don't use my pan without asking me. Whatever it is, right? Yeah. And then your roommate uses it. And you're just like, yo, like, why are you doing that? And you just kind of, like, have, like, this, like, frustrating kind of blow up. And you're just like, what justifies that? And to them, they're just like, I didn't think it was a big deal. I washed it and I put it back. Like, you know, whatever it is. And so I'd like just communicate, and like I would tell my roommates like straight up like, hey, like you're welcome to any of my food. Like I don't care if you eat it. Like I love sharing food with people. And I was like, but if you finish it, like the only thing I'm gonna ask is that you just let me know, because the worst thing is like going.
Bro, it's so real.
You have like
and it's just an empty box.
An empty bag. You're just like, no. So like just like establish that, and maybe some of those things like you don't know yet because you haven't lived with roommates. Yeah. But as you learn them, just be like, hey, like I've realized this about myself, so I'm just gonna like communicate that with you. And most people are like good to just be like, okay, like thanks for letting me know, and then they tend to respect that, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of fun because you get to practice being an adult and like setting boundaries, because I'm definitely like a it doesn't matter, I'm just gonna wash it and put it away, and it's fine. Like that's how I grew up. And so I remember saying that because I got moved into random roommates this last semester, and I was like, hey, like this is how I roll, but I don't have to. Like, if that makes you uncomfortable, I can, like, change. And there was one girl that was like, you should ask every time for me. And I was like, can do.
Yeah,
Easy.
you're
I
like,
can do that.
adjustment made.
I was like, boom. Now we don't have to be for a whole semester.
No, yeah. I
But-
really encourage people to like sit down at the beginning of semester,
Yes.
especially with
Yep.
randos if you don't know them.
That's what Lydia was saying too.
And I feel like, because I mean, I don't have that much experience because I've had 4 semesters with roommates, including this one, and it's like my last semester having roommates because I'm getting married before next semester. Yay! But like, I can say like very firmly that if you do not sit down with your roommates in the beginning and you're like, this is how I roll, this is what I expect of myself and kind of other people around me, then it's gonna be a disaster.
Yeah.
No, it's real. Or like kind of like what we were talking about before, but like your habits. If you're like, oh, yep, I stay up pretty late. I have friends over. Does that make anyone uncomfortable? Because I can adjust. Or I can like text and say, hey, we're watching a movie. You know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
because some people expect like more consideration and other people are like, oh, it's my place. I can just show up. So it's different. But
Like, I know there were times because Abby and I's bedroom wall was shared with the TV. And that definitely, because there were nights when I was trying to go to bed earlier because of like early classes or like working early.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, okay, they're blasting Phantom of the Opera at like full volume right now. I can't fall asleep.
Phantom
Like,
of the
not
Opera
Phantom of
is
the
crazy.
Opera.
fantastic movie, but not at 11 p.m.
Yeah, with the organ jump scares.
my
like,
gosh.
every
So real. Well, my roommates one time, they like my first semester ever, bunch of randoms, and actually like we became like good friends, but they were watching like the 6 or 7 hour Pride and Prejudice movie, like the extended cut.
Oh, the 6 hour, like the BBC miniseries.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. First of all, I've never seen that movie, so I don't get the hype. Not that I don't want to, but I just haven't. And then secondly, I was like, they were just occupying the living room for 7 hours.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm going to cook. And they're like, keep it down.
Keep it down, crazy.
No, they're like, keep the lights off. I'm like, it's 7 hours.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
That's nuts. 7 hours with the
See,
lights.
but my favorite thing that I saw once, I think it was on Facebook, but it was like a roommate group chat, and they were like, "Hey, I'm reserving the kitchen on this day
Whoa.
from."
A kitchen reservation.
Yeah, and they
for
were like,
tonight
on
because-
this day from blank to blank time.
Yeah, because I sent it to you, but it was like, I'm making pizza with my boyfriend. No one else gets the kitchen, and it was just, I was like, that's
I
audacious.
That's a little crazy.
That's crazy, but at least
Yeah.
there was a heads up.
But at least there's a heads up. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
respect the heads up. It's like, perfect. I can't wait to plant myself right in the kitchen. Just
No,
yeah, it's
literally.
like I will sit in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
Just
You're-
move
I'm
around
not
me with
moving.
my headphones in, my iPad.
Yeah, I'm expecting a slice of both pizzas.
I'm expecting a size of both beats.
No, I think it's good though, like just to communicate expectations or like how you naturally show up. And then if people really have like issues with it, then that can be communicated. And then hopefully, especially randoms.
Yep.
And then kind of like what I was thinking about with this is also like the honor code. Because with the honor code comes like a curfew and comes like rules surrounding like significant others and those things.
Or just friends of opposite gender.
Or just
right?
friends of
Like,
opposite
whether or not
gender.
you're in a romantic relationship or not.
Yeah. And so there was a couple times I had to like not like set boundaries, but just remind my roommate that I was like in a living space.
Yeah.
Because we both had boyfriends and he was there pretty often. And I love him. He's a good friend. But like I would be like not wearing pants. And it's like, bro, you can't just show
Yeah.
up. Like, and so we just had a conversation about it and it was fine. It's like, the thing is like, especially with curfew, it's like, hey, I work after midnight, so I'm going to come home after curfew.
Yeah.
Please don't send me to jail.
Please don't send me to jail.
Don't get me sent out.
Like my job, it shifts in thirds. It's 8 hours, and one of the shifts is 4 p.m. to midnight. So it's like some days, like, you know, if the person tapping me out comes late, it's like sometimes I'm not home until like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Or like I'll stop by Abby's apartment and just chat for a little bit because it's like, hey, I have like 20 minutes of free time for once. Let me just
Yeah, like
give you a hug
decompress
and let
really
you know that
Give
I'm
you a
alive. But like sometimes I'm home later,
Yeah.
you know, and it's always just kind of nice to be like, hey, this is kind of my schedule. Sometimes I'll be home like 2 a.m. But
Well,
like
I
I'll be
think-
quiet and respectful, and I understand you're sleeping. So
Yeah.
I think communicating that at the beginning, though, because I feel like honor code is there to keep us safe, and it's obviously there for a reason.
Yeah.
And like we all know what we're signing up for when we come here. And our roommates can be like the first line of communication. It can be like,
Yeah.
hey, you're doing this thing. it's making me uncomfortable, or hey, I need to do this thing, I don't want to make you uncomfortable, instead of immediately saying report it.
Yeah, I was about to say
that can be scary.
I don't want to, abuse is probably the wrong word, but I don't think it's a good idea to just be like, oh, you made me mad in some way, shape, or form, or that, like, you know, you crossed a boundary, and before talking to you about it and maybe, like, you know, communicating again, hey, this is something I have issues with, going straight to the honor code office.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to hear, like, hey, you have to go into the honor code office, and you're just like, well, shoot, like, what did I do?
Yeah, like, if you have no idea, and it's because the roommates never confronted you and said, hey, just so you know, I'm uncomfortable that your boyfriend's here all the time, or, you know, whatever it is, it's like, just communicate with them. Because again, we get to kind of, if you've never been on a mission and this is your first college experience or even your fourth college experience, you're practicing being an adult. And so it's like, you can communicate expectations, you can communicate if you're uncomfortable, and if they don't respect that, go to the honor code office and get the assistance and help that you need. But I think it's good to, like, let people know.
Yeah, verbalize it first.
Yeah, especially because, like, maybe somebody's coming from, like, an apartment where, like, other people maybe aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, so they don't really see anything wrong with their behavior. And, like, I just loved what Lydia said, where it's like, if you haven't ever communicated a boundary to me, me directly, and then you just go straight to the honor code office and say, like, hey, I broke some boundary, like, I didn't even know that I don't know what I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, how did I know that was going to make you uncomfortable? Like, I wasn't breaking honor code, my boyfriend's just here for long amounts of time, and that's making you uncomfortable, and you didn't tell me that it's making you uncomfortable, and now I have no idea why I'm being called to the honor code office. And so the honor code office is a great, and, like, the standards of living are great templates for, like, roommates and, like, roommate behavior and respect and consideration. And the reality is that just some people are not as, like, committed to that, unfortunately. And so, like, holding each other accountable and communicating that and giving people the chance to correct their behavior, like, just by being an adult and talking to them, I think giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're not trying to, like, get away with stuff, but they're just, like, maybe not realizing or not thinking about it. I think it just goes a really long way, and it's just, like, a huge thing. Like, I would appreciate anybody bringing any issues to me, and then if of course I continue to ignore them, I would expect them to take me to the honor code office. Like, I'm disrespecting you, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. It literally says you're supposed to take me to the honor code office. Like, you've committed to taking me there if I'm not doing it. So it's like, take me there, right?
Honestly, no, it's so true. I lived at Utah State, and this just came up from when you were telling me this, but my roommate, she lived a very interesting life, and I didn't always feel safe living there. And I talked to her about it, and she was kind of like, well, like, you can lock your door if you feel unsafe, because she'd have friends over and boys
like
over. strangers over that I've never
overnight.
met. So it's a little bit, I was like, oh, okay. And then after she said that, I was like, I don't have anybody else. I can't call the police. She's not doing anything illegal. And, like, I can't take it to the next level. There's not, like, an honor code office that's there to also protect us and as, like, a good source. So I think BYU-I is awesome for that, but also with all the cultural differences and, like, it's just people coming from all over the world and the country, it's like, we can just communicate first. And then send them to jail. Just kidding.
Straight to jail.
Send them to bad girl jail right now. Bad boy jail. Just kidding.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Believe it or not, straight to jail.
Undercooked fish.
Straight to jail.
No. Honor code is, like, one of those things that is, like, there, and, like, the standards of living and, like, the housing office, they provide, like, a really awesome resource where, like, maybe somebody's not even breaking the honor code, but maybe, like, you're just having issues with your roommates and it's not getting resolved, and they have people that are there to facilitate that. Like, that's a really awesome resource. Or if you have even issues with, like, a landlord or, like, leasing issues, like,
they're there.
They have people that can facilitate that. That's, like, written into people who are can, like, qualify as, like, BYU-Idaho approved housing. That's, like, part of, like, the policy is, like, oh, we can step in and facilitate that between you and the student if needed. Anyways, and so things like that are just, like, really awesome resources that are there and are not available at a lot of other universities. And so I think thinking of those resources as like blessings and opportunities is a really important, like, mind shift, instead of just being like, oh, somebody's just making all these rules and, like, because they don't want me to have fun or, like, whatever it is, right? And so I think just, like, having that attitude is really important.
I think it's just rules there to remind you to just have human decency, be respectful, you know,
And
like,
be safe.
yeah.
Like a baseline of respect.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not there to impose over everything you do, but just to, you know, just be a nice little nudge in the right direction. Be like, hey, think about both yourself and others.
Yeah.
You know,
Think
like,
how this might impact others.
yeah.
No, that's so real. I feel like too, with roommates and like all of these things, I was just thinking about the daunting clean checks
Oh my
that
gosh, I
come
know.
with roommates, and like how I low-key feel like it's kind of like a fear monger, because we would get the clean checks every 2 weeks and they never showed up ever.
Oh, what the
I lived
heck?
there for 2 semesters. They never showed up. They just would threaten. And I was like, every 2 weeks I'd be like, oh my gosh. But then I stopped. I actually stopped because I was like,
Like, nothing's happening if I don't. So
I remember a time, I can't remember if Abby was there or not, but I know, like, we as roommates, we were all talking, and one of the things we did was we got, like, cheap little microphones from Walmart, and we'd pretend to have a little podcast. So whenever we were, like, deep in thought and talking to each other, we'd have the microphones
you just
out.
pull the mics out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We had, like, forgotten that there were supposed to be clean checks that day, and it wasn't very consistent at all. And the dude walked in, checked, and then we ended up talking with him for like 30 minutes.
Brought
He
him
just,
on
like,
the
joined
podcast.
in. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
yeah, I heard about that story later. I was like, dang it, I wish I was here.
Those clean checks.
No, yeah, but clean checks are a great, like, they definitely have to do them because otherwise people wouldn't clean. But sometimes, like, the very first apartment complex that I stayed at, like, was doing some fear mongering. Like, they would literally be like on the counters and be like, you used this product, I don't like that product, like, clean it again with a different product. And we would just be like,
That's
it was
that's
actually, like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was so stressful. And it was like that the whole semester. I've heard it's not like that at that complex anymore. We shall remain unnamed. But but that was like, I mean, my first semester was like
they should
8 years ago, and so I'm just like, it was a long time ago, so I'm sure it's changed, but it was very stressful at the time. And I was just like, oh my gosh. But also goes along with that is they were very specific about how they wanted things cleaned and gave you specific instructions on how to clean things. So they'd be like, clean the shower head, and then they would give you step-by-step instructions. Clean the stovetop, use this specific product, and they'd have a picture of it. It can be found at Walmart in this section.
That's insane.
No, yeah, like,
That's
and
crazy.
so even though it was really high stress, I actually learned like really awesome like hacks and products for
Oh, cool.
cleaning
Okay,
and really
fire.
cool stuff. And so it's like sometimes there's kind of like a give and a take. And while I don't think they should be that extreme, like Lydia and I, when we moved into the towers, they gave like, hey, there's granite countertops here. Do not clean them with these products. It damages like the ceiling on the granite. And we were like, cool, we would have never known that. Thank you for telling us. Like, so things like that where it's like, please educate us. Cause like I didn't grow up with granite countertops. Like, I don't know how to
it
clean
was
granite.
like, I can't even remember what it's called, but it's like that wood that just has like a vinyl layer over it.
Yeah.
It's like fake wood.
Yeah, it's like
countertops.
countertop.
It's like a
with vinyl.
sticker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it like peels off.
Yes,
sometimes.
it does.
Yeah.
Your mom's
like,
always yelling at you to stop messing with it.
Yeah.
because it's like on the corner and you're like, awesome. I'll just do a little
Yeah.
But one thing I was thinking of is like when you live in an apartment complex that's 60 years old and they're like, make it look like it was made 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, for sure.
The carpet's got like a
The
50-year-old
carpet is
stain in it, and you're like,
stained. It's not even the
Yeah.
original color anymore. Like the tiles coming off. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna really get in here.
Yeah.
But they're usually a lot more chill at those apartment complexes
Yeah.
because it's
yeah, because they know.
they know it's an old apartment.
Yeah.
I know. I think my only like thing with where I'm at now is one time they had to do rechecks because someone was using the bathroom.
And they couldn't get in to check that it was cleaned.
Yeah. So they made us wait like a whole other day for us to be cleared, which was kind of rough because we had to keep the apartment clean for a whole day.
Like
Bro.
pristine.
Yeah.
They didn't just like sign off on it and say, okay, you're good. We'll just check the
No.
Yeah,
bathroom.
like somebody was like showering and the other person was using the other bathroom, and they were like, oh, you failed. And I was like, what? I was like, I cleaned that bathroom. And
I know.
and it like specifically said we had failed the bathrooms. And I was like, I cleaned mine. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're saying.
No,
but
yeah,
I did
literally.
my part.
But yeah, so they failed us and they came back and checked. It was just like kind of bizarre. I've never had that happen before because we've had that happen in the past where like, oh, the bathrooms are occupied, and they've never like been like, oh, you're like trying to get around this and like failed us.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of weird.
It's like, yeah, I just camped out in the bathroom all day.
Yeah, like waiting for you to arrive.
I don't want to clean it, so I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah.
I know, I'm gonna like sit in the grime.
Yeah. Nasty.
Before we close, what is like some advice you have for new roommates, whether they're moving in with their friends or with random people? What is like something you're like, okay, do this and your experience will be better?
I would say really prioritize getting to know them and like make the roommate group chat. Like the earlier you can do it, the better. It makes move-in day so much easier if you're like, hey, I'm coming at this time, or I have some friends helping me move in, kind of thing. It's like so much better.
No, I agree.
Agreed.
I think with that, I would say don't put pressure on yourself to become your roommate's best friends.
No.
Also, like, it's okay if you're just really nice and cordial and it's a safe place to live and you can make friends other ways. So I would say, like, yeah, get to know them, but also don't put pressure to, like, make a friendship if there's not, like, if the best friendship isn't there. And then, yeah, communicate as soon as you can and as often as you can. I think that is, like, what I would say.
Yeah, agreed. And just like a really quick, like, I have a coworker and she was living at Brigham's Mill, and then the people who owned her specific unit decided they were gonna like do something different with it, so everybody had to like find different housing, and her and one of those girls found housing in another place. And I was just like asking her about her roommate. She's like, yeah, we're actually not like very good friends at all, but we just like live together really well. She's like, we both respect each other's space, we keep it clean, we keep it tidy, like we're just like really considerate of each other. And she's like, so we're not even like that good of friends, but we just like live together great. And she's like, so we just like continued living together. And I was just like, I love that. Like, I think that's a great example of like, you don't need to be their best friend. And not that they're unkind, like not that they're like, oh, we're not besties, so this is awkward. They just like, she's like, we're both really busy, so we see each other every couple of days, and so we just like chat and catch up.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah. And so I was like, that's super cool. And since they're like both like older, they're like not in student housing or anything, but yeah, it's just like the two of them. And so I was just like, that's a super cool thing to remind myself of, because when we would have roommates that would like come in to our friend group, and then they would kind of do their own thing and not really want to be in our friend group because they had like their own group already, which is like totally fine. But I would always be like, do they feel excluded? Like, did we do something wrong? And so like I had to like have like Lydia and other roommates like remind me like, no, like they're just I think they just like have their people already and they're like comfortable with that. And I was like, okay, like I had to like talk myself down, like, but yeah, so I just agree with everything that's been said. Like, make the group chat, talk to them. Like, please communicate with them. Please treat them as an adult. Give them the benefit of the doubt. And then if issues persist, please use your resources, right?
Yeah. And, like, you might be best friends with your roommates.
Yeah, like Lydia and I.
Booyah! You didn't catch it. It's been said.
Yeah. Obviously, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were
Lydia Laws,
Grace Andrus,
and Abigale Maxfield.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university, and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. Subscribe to The Spot, available on all music streaming platforms, or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at BYUI_The Spot. Have a topic in mind? Leave us a comment and let us know what we should talk about next. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.